Hey guys, today we're going to be making my go-to recipe. It's my Italian barbecue chicken. It is a recipe I've been making for years. I found it in a magazine and I use it for anything from an easy weeknight dinner because you can double this batch and you can convert it into sandwiches, quesadillas, pretty much anything that you want to combine this with. So we'll get into that in a few minutes. This is my go-to recipe if there's a funeral and I need to make something for a loved one, or if there is a newborn baby and the family needs a meal. This is so simple and it's so delicious, and everybody like down the line in my family loves this recipe. So I had to share it with you because it's just too easy not to. So I'm going to get into that. What we're going to need is not this much chicken. This is one of these huge bags I got at Sam's. 10 pounds for like $16 or something like that. You're gonna need 24 ounces of chicken. And a lot of times I will double this recipe. So we have a big family. Sometimes I will double this and I will use this for the rest of the week to eat on either salads. You can put this on baked potatoes. You can just eat it as a sandwich. You can eat it on quesadillas, which I have a recipe for that also. That's a really good recipe. So you'll need 24 ounces of chicken breast. We're gonna need 3/4 a cup of barbecue sauce. If you're doing low carb or something like that, which we aren't, I just prefer this. This is new by Ray's. It's got no sugar in it, so that's perfect for people that are watching their carbs. We're gonna need 1/4 a cup of Italian dressing. It's the mix. You can use any kind. The recipe calls for light, but it really doesn't make a difference. And then we're gonna need 1 tablespoon of worcestershire, however you say that, sauce. Everybody says that differently. We're gonna need 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And what we're gonna do, we'll also need, for later on in this recipe when it's done cooking, we're gonna need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of chicken broth. But if you don't have chicken broth on hand, you can use 2 tablespoons of water to mix with the cornstarch. It's for later on when the recipe is done cooking to thicken it up. And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna add about, these are huge chicken breasts, but I'm gonna add about 3 or 4 of them to the pot. And 4. Next thing, you're gonna take a bowl. And you're gonna mix all this into it, all the ingredients. I said before, we need 2 tablespoons, or I'm sorry, I keep saying 2. We need 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. But if you were gonna double this, you could use 2. Actually, I think we will double this because there's big chicken breasts. So I'm gonna use 2 in mine. But if you were just making 1 batch, you would just use 1. Okay, next we're gonna add 1/4 a cup of Italian dressing. Now, if you're doubling this, just do that 2 times. Then we're gonna add 3/4 a cup of barbecue sauce. Okay, the chicken is done. It's ready to be shredded. You can tell whenever all that steam comes out and that glaze is on top. It's time to come out and be shredded. Starch out that I told you about earlier. we're gonna get the chicken broth out because I'm gonna use it for tonight's dinner, and then I'm also gonna use it tomorrow to make the quesadillas. So I'm gonna take 4 tablespoons cornstarch. Then I'm gonna take 4 tablespoons of the chicken broth. If you were just making the one, it would just be 2 and 2. 2 of the chicken broth and 2 of the cornstarch. You can mix this together in a little slurry. It gets really thick. I don't know if I've ever done that before. But cornstarch, you can actually use it as a kids experiment. They can play in this, kind of gross. The water and cornstarch makes it feel like quicksand. But anyway, that's for another day. We're not going to give any ideas for today. Our house is already a wreck. So we're going to take that, a slurry of that, and then you're going to just mix it into that sauce that's left in there. Scoop it all in there because it's going to give it a little extra flavor, and it's going to mostly make it a little bit thicker. Got it all shredded. It's ready to go back in to the crock pot. All that chicken. We're just gonna dump it back into the crock pot. I'm gonna stir it around with the sauce. Let's get it real good and coated. Let it thicken up. We'll keep the crock pot on whatever setting. Keep it on low for about 45 more minutes. Those are done, all nice and brown and toasted. There we go, an easy dinner with macaroni and cheese. Just takes about no time to cook that. That's just the instant macaroni and cheese by Kraft. Then we just have the chicken sandwiches with the easy ingredients, and I just toasted the buns in the oven. Don't take any time to broil those. And then our side is corn. And there you have a super easy dinner. Okay, tonight we're gonna be making Bbq Chicken Quesadillas. We're gonna use the leftover Bbq chicken that we used last night that I showed you in the crock pot recipe. And we've got a ton of that left over, so I'm gonna show you a really yummy, easy, cheap dinner. And as one of our sides, I'm gonna make just some Instant Pot rice. You can use it on the stove top or even buy the little bags of the microwavable kind. But I'm gonna use the Instant Pot because it only takes about 14 minutes and it always turns out perfect. Okay, I'm gonna take 2 cups of rice. This is jasmine rice. If you use brown rice, you have to use cooking time longer. So whatever your amount is, whether it's 2 cups, you just do the 1-to-1 ratio. 2 cups of rice, you do 2 cups of liquid. And we use chicken broth because it gives it more flavor when it cooks through. So we just do 2 cups of that. Your lid back on. And then seal it. Then you're gonna hit manual pressure cook, and we're gonna do it at 7 minutes, which takes about 10 minutes to warm up. And then when that's done cooking, when the timer goes off, we're gonna let it naturally release in here. That way it fluffs it up really good and makes it a lot more tender for about 10 minutes. Okay, so now it's time to make it. Okay, so then we're gonna take a cup of the beans. You can use all of them if you want to. Take a cup. We're gonna mash them down. You just use a fork and just mash it all in there. Then we're gonna take that mixture, and like I said, if you don't like onions, you don't have to put onions in it. You can sub out whatever you want. I sneak the spinach in because they don't even taste it, or otherwise they wouldn't eat it. And take the mashed beans that we've mashed, put all that into that mixture, and then the recipe I showed you for the barbecue chicken last night, we're gonna mix that in to this. Supposed to use about a cup, but I'm just going to use up what we have left in this. We actually have 2 containers of this left because I made so much even after all that we used for dinner. And then you're going to pour your corn mixture into this. Super easy. And I'll link all this down below, and it's super healthy, but it has amazing taste because usually my family wouldn't want to eat this combination if I told them what all was in this. Give it a good stir. Okay, so we're going to take this mixture. We're going to take a tortilla. Just one of your tortillas, any kind. We use the whole wheat kind, so I can stick some extra grain in there. I'm just going to spoon it out on half the side. That mixture. You're also going to need cheese. You can put whatever toppings you want. This is just the recipe I go by. And it actually calls for jalapenos, but my kids don't like them. It's too spicy. So sometimes I make them for my husband's part because he likes jalapenos. So some cheese. And then you're just going to fold that over. And take this over to a skillet. Got one. I like to use coconut oil in the pan to warm it up. I'm just going to take that, I'm just going to lay it in there and let it cook for about 4 minutes on each side. And there's dinner. We just used rice as a side from the Instant Pot. Literally took about 14 minutes to cook that, 15 give or take. Got the quesadilla with all those vegetables, and you don't even know they're in there because it's so yummy. And we did a side of avocado.